And we are live. This is Epic Sketch Time 2016 number 9 on Super Tuesday. My name is James Stowe. I'm a cartoonist and illustrator. I make sidekick quests. You can find it at sidekickquest.com. It's a webcomic and RPG for kids and adults. And tonight I am joined by, good God, what is that thing?
It is a phony armadillo.
Why do you have it?
It was a gift from my mother-in-law.
Oh, does she not like you?
She actually gave it to Krista. She has absolutely no idea what Krista likes. I like him.
Who likes? Is it a taxidermy armadillo? You know, this has gone way off topic. Would you guys please introduce yourselves?
My name is Mark Monlux. I'm a cartoonist in Tacoma, Washington. I have 2 webcomics. One's called The Return of Stickman, the other one's The Comic Critic. And I do most of my work as a freelance illustrator for corporations. The webcomics cover nothing.
Nothing, yes.
Well, they pay for themselves.
How about Jim? Would you like to introduce yourself?
Well, yes, I'm Jim Kersey. I make the Amuck Brothers comic at theamuckbrothers.com or amuckbros.com. Yeah, my comic is nowhere near paying for itself. I work for a company, and that's pretty awesome.
That is a gorgeous-looking page, by the way.
Oh, thank you. This
You're
is
welcome.
actually a few years old. Trying to bring some old stuff back.
Nice. And Deanna, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Deanna Brigman. I'm making my first webcomic. It's called Obscurato. You can find it on obscurato.com or also on Tapastic. And no, my comic has not started paying for itself.
I love that that is the theme for tonight. And no, I don't make any money. That's what I do. Well, for the next hour or so, we are going to be sketching somewhat epically. I am going to be drawing some superheroes for I run a superhero RPG based on Mutants and Masterminds on Wednesdays. And I have some sketches I need to do of some NPCs. So I'm going to do that tonight. What's everybody else going to be drawing?
Once again, I'll be coloring the few remaining drawings in my series of obscure horror movie monsters in preparations for making a deck out of them.
How many do you have left?
I think I have like 4 left to color, not very many.
Wow, that's it? You might be
I'm just
done
doing the
tonight.
background, so it should go fast. I might be able to finish up tonight.
Oh my God! Look at that is a lot of pages. What are you working in that you can have all those pages open at the same time?
I mean, that's Manga Studio.
Is it? Holy moly! That doesn't slow you down?
I mean, it truly is a miraculous program.
That really, I had no idea it could do that.
Yeah. Yeah, you can just really, I mean, I do have a pretty good computer running here, but you know, I've never had a computer that had a problem working with these.
That's pretty stellar.
But to that end, yes, I have a lot of coloring to do.
Yeah, I'll be coloring page 12 tonight of Obscurato.
Nice. All right, so I'm going to get to drawing. And we should have some other people joining us tonight. Nobody had any trouble with the invites?
No, we're great.
Not a hitch.
I know last week was kind of crazy when it came to the invites. I think I spent the first 25 minutes doing nothing but continually inviting people in.
So if you take a look at my screen, can you guess what this week's monster, today's monster is?
I am stumped.
It it has it's got some very impressive mutton chops.
It does have some really good mutton chops in the movie.
What,
This is
what it,
from a
I
movie
can't even
called,
that's in a movie?
yes, this and a fairly well-budgeted movie too. It's called The Relic.
Oh, I remember, like, from the 90s.
Yep, that's correct.
I remember the relic. I don't think you got to see the monster as well as you have drawn it. I don't remember a good, good solid viewing of it. I mean, I might be wrong, but
No, the shots of the monster were, in the classical sense, pretty much in the dark since the lights were out. I really hate
yeah.
that about monster films, but
So, did you pretty much just make up?
oh no, there were some good video references. Not to mention models. There's a really nice model out for this particular creature. So a lot of different artists have painted him different ways based on what they've seen of him in the theater. So I kind of took this from what people did on their models and a little bit from good stills from the movie that were available.
Gotcha.
Now you were mentioning last week that you're one of the few people that uses Navigator. And
Me, yeah, I can't imagine not using the navigator tool.
I just want to comment that I use the Navigator tool all the time. So
Okay.
you are not alone. I have
Yeah,
to.
I mean, I guess I know a lot of people who use just the hotkey for zoom in, zoom out, and that's how they do it. But that is not for me.
I never got used to the hotkey.
Like any hotkeys?
Oh, you mean not for the top row? No, I tend to use commands, but not hotkeys.
Gotcha.
Or are we just using different terminology?
I think we are. I was just going to let you go with that.
So I was going to go with a dark background for this thing tonight, in keeping with the movie. Some dark reds and some dark blues.
So, does anyone live in a state where they actually got to vote today? I do not live in a state where I got to vote today. All right,
Deadly.
I'm gonna take that as a no.
Silence there still.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do, but I was uncharacteristically unpatriotic today. But Texas is pretty much a Republican no matter what you do. So.
Mm.
Stowe, did you know that Brill was from Texas?
Yeah, he told me Monday night, actually. I hadn't realized that until he told me. When when I was discussing the fact that I was going to be doing an shoot, I can't think of the word. A imitation. There it is of a like a Southern preacher. He's like, "Oh, I know all about that. I'm from Texas." They got on me because I was from Pennsylvania. That the only impression I could really do is of a angry Quaker preacher or an angry Amish lay leader. Little do they know
That there
that
are many angry Amish lay
those things
leaders.
don't exist.
Well, I think that Bill Morris might be at his political discussion group tonight.
I would imagine tonight is a good night for political discussion. I guess Trump won big. And I'm not sure the Democratic results are.
So one of the reasons I did a review of Popeye was I heard that they were going to be doing a remake of Popeye.
What? I mean, I guess it's not technically a remake of the movie. It's just another take on the cartoon, but
Yeah, just another take.
that's,
And
that's still pretty weird.
well, I've seen some posters, but I think they're fan art posters of a Popeye in 3D that's just phenomenal.
Oh, is it an animated film?
I have no idea whether or not the animated film is or not. I just saw this piece of fan artwork
I see.
in a mock poster. And considering that the Ryan Reynolds, half the reason he ended up doing Deadpool was because he, quote, leaked, unquote, some footage that he and another guy put together of a Deadpool sequence, and that kind of became big on the internet and thus forced the hands of a studio to actually do something when they realized how hot of a market it might actually be.
That is the herb how that went. But I mean, he is the producer of that movie. It's not like the actor of the film got a hold of some footage and decided to let it go. The producer of the movie released some footage. That's purely legitimate. So tomorrow in my game, I'm going very Dragon Ball-y. So I'm drawing some Dragon Ball like kung fu dudes tonight.
The last movie I watched was A Million Ways to Die in the West. And I have to be honest,
Is that a comedy?
it is a comedy.
Is it a comedy by the guy who does uh,
Family
what is
Guy.
that show called? The animated show.
Family Guy.
Family Guy, yes. It's that guy.
Also American Dad. Seth Rogen.
Nope, that's not him.
No, not Seth Rogen. What is this?
MacFarlane. Seth MacFarlane.
Seth MacFarlane.
And? Was it good?
A 4 at best.
Oh, Now, did you like, what's his I Am a Teddy Bear movie?
I have not seen
Either of those?
either of the Ted films.
I saw the first one. It was not terrible. I wouldn't necessarily say it was good, but it wasn't really bad either. I'm not a big fan of that guy's work, though, so I've never really found Family Guy to be all that funny. You know, it's funny. I always kind of have a dilemma when I'm doing Epic Sketch Time. It's Epic Sketch Time. I mean, it's specifically uh, targeted as just a bunch of people drawing. Come watch a bunch of people drawing. But then I feel compelled that I must not just have dead air, that we must talk about something. But then I'm taking away from my drawing time. So I don't know what the right answer is. Nobody else seems to have that problem. Everybody's just drawing.
Well, we can't play any music because we're broadcasting this.
That's true. Well, I guess we could start making our own music. That'd be weird.
Considering how well we did it last night, it'd be very weird.
Yeah. So last night, Mark and I started a cartoonist group in the town we both live in. And last night we had our annual, what we call the Great Yearly Ceremony. It's just an excuse for us to get together and act a little silly and have some snacks and talk about the year that passed. Last year in particular, I did last night, or 2 nights ago. No, it was last night.
It was last night.
I did a pretty good impression of a Southern Baptist preacher talking about the year that was. I enjoyed it. I don't know if anybody else enjoyed it, but I had a lot of fun doing it. I wish somebody had filmed it.
It's too bad that we didn't have Adam up. He would have filmed it.
Yep, yep.
So what do you think of this color combination?
That's not bad. What I'm looking at right now is really nice. I like the purples and the reds. The browns and the greens compete with each other so much that I think adding some reds to help those browns is a good choice.
Yeah. What do you think about this bit of green in the bottom color that I'm flashing
Yeah,
on?
no, that's good.
Okay.
I think that's good to go. I would stop working on it right now.
Yeah. Okay. Let's find the next one. So I spent my entire day doing nothing but accounting stuff, just working beside QuickBooks.
You
Catching.
know, I did a lot of budgeting today as well. Yay, first of the month.
I had fallen behind on paying a bunch of bills, and what's this? Oh, I just opened up an envelope. It's I have an instant loan of $54,000.
You know, when I said we had to fill the silence with talk, I didn't mean that you need to read your mail.
Well, I was just waiting for the computer to save the file, so I had to do something with my hands.
Good.
I'm going to
Oh, thank you for the robot, by the way. That's a nice one. I didn't get to open it until I got home, but that's a goodie.
take a look at the screen. This is
Good Lord.
from a movie called The Monster from the Ocean Floor.
Yep, I can see that. Do those yellow bits, do those glow or something?
Yeah, or something. It's a black and white film, and the monster's sort of like this giant amoeba thing with a giant eye, and it's extremely blurry throughout the whole movie. I think there's only like one or two photo references. But what's interesting, this monster has had a very strong effect on pop culture.
It has?
Okay, what other kind of bulbish head with a single eye like this have you seen in popular cartoons?
Uh, well, yeah, but is it directly linked to this thing?
Sort of. It is.
Or, you know, I mean, single-eyed, weird, bulby stuff,
Oh, with tentacles? Come
that's
on now.
fairly common, right? I don't even know why I'm arguing with you about it.
I'm just saying I think it's more than a coincidence. So I need to. This is one of the first backgrounds I colored, but it doesn't have any blends in it. So I think I need to go in there and toss in a blend or two. I mean, I'm thinking maybe a little bit of purple from about where the tentacles are up into the blue, or a
I
little
can see
bit.
that.
Yeah.
That would help with the bottom of the ocean thing, too. Isn't that what you said? The creature from the...
Yes.
Well, I think it looks lovely, but I think the tentacles get lost a little bit at the bottom because of the green.
Yeah, I'm thinking I might have to adjust that green too. But in keeping with the movie, the whole thing does get lost in the. It's such horrible footage. I'm going to see if I can actually find some footage to show to you guys on this.
How old is it? You said it's a black and white movie?
Yeah, it's a black and white movie. Oh, and I misspoke the title. It's The Creature from the Ocean Floor.
All the more reason.
Okay, so this is my video. This is the references I have online for this monster. This shot, um,
Good Lord, look at that.
this shot, and this shot. So that and the movie posters, which
How
were
can you tell it even has tentacles?
well because they're clearly seen on the movie poster. No, it's yeah, it was a tough one trying to find references for it, even when you watch the movie on YouTube and try to stop frame things. So
Well, you've done a fine job.
yeah, the bits with the glowing tentacles is something that the actors described.
Oh, yeah? Wait, so have you watched all these terrible movies that you,
There are a few of them like this one that I have not watched.
well, you haven't watched it? Were you just saying that the actors quote the fact that they say?
Well, I did watch parts of it, so
Oh. So how do you find out about movies of this high quality?
well, there's a network of similar affection fans, and you just tap into them. One's a Yahoo group that I've been involved with for years called Bad Movies. And Bad Movies is a really great little web group to go to when, let's say, you're trying to remember a specific film, but all you can do is remember like 3 seconds of a particular scene. If you can describe that scene thoroughly enough, some guy in that group will tell you what movie it is.
Wow.
Just film buffs having fun.
I guess that's a skill. So,
Did we pick up another person?
Yep. Hey guys.
Hey, Brett.
Hey, Brett.
Hey, Brett.
Welcome.
A little late, but I made it.
Yeah. How was the dentist?
All good. So, easy. I was in and out in like half an hour.
I must have missed the dentist talk.
He had
Yeah.
told me earlier on Twitter that he was going to be late because of the dentist.
Yep.
I'm missing Pat tonight. My guess is he's voting.
Oh yeah, that thing. I see we're at the lull in the conversation point of the podcast.
Wait, what's that?
I see we're at the lull in the conversation part of the...
You know, it's been that kind of night. We haven't really talked about much. People have just been drawing. Like, most of the conversation is about the fact that no one is talking. And everyone is just drawing.
Yeah, Stowe and I are a little bit talked out because we spent most of last night talking.
That's right. We were at a social get-together last night for our cartoonist group.
Is that for the claw thing?
The claw thing, yeah. I spent 20 minutes yelling at people like a Southern Baptist preacher.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Very interesting night.
It was really more fun than it sounded like.
I really enjoyed it. I would yell at people again next year.
So what was your topic of yelling? Or is it?
I was
Does it?
just going over everything the organization did pretty much last year, but I wanted to present it in an interesting way, so I decided to go with Southern Baptist Revival. So that way, I figured at least it's entertaining.
Yeah.
So I just stood in front of a bunch of people and yelled at them from the pulpit.
And it didn't hurt that where we were was a really nice forum for it.
Oh yeah, it's like 100-year-old Pythian temple.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous location. Like it's the kind of building that just shouldn't exist anymore because we all live in modern society, and yet it still does. And it's one of those buildings you go by every day, and you're like, you know, it's like, oh, it's the Elks Lodge or the whatever, and turns out it's like this whole crazy temple-like thing inside.
Yeah, it's not a very imposing building. It's just basically a giant brick tower with an old paint advertisement on the side of it that says Pythian Temple, 4 stories tall. That's been there for so many centuries that it's completely faded, and it's so ununique that it just fades into the background.
Oh, like government buildings.
And then you go in through what's a street that's more like an alley through this tiny little door, and you go through this long, creepy hallway that's filled with pipes. And then the next thing you know, you're in the 1800s all over again with gorgeous woodwork and frescoes, and
yeah, it's pretty crazy.
It's old world. Just oh my God. Back in the day when everybody belonged to a fraternity because they had insurance. That was how you got your insurance,
Yeah, we were talking to one of the guys who is part of the group, and he said they even had a standing army at one point. Like they had a volunteer militia.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were probably part of the group that ran the Chinese out of Tacoma.
Yes. Little known fact about the place we live.
But now we have the Reconciliation Temple, and it's all good. It's just
I learned a little bit about that today. I'm not going to share it here because, who cares? But I learned more about that park today, and it's
about
interesting.
Reconciliation Park.
Yeah, and it's interesting how it came together and why. Because it's kind of like slapdash together, really. But there's a reason for that feeling. But again, that is definitely not of general interest.
I did a cartoon about the whole Chinese being kicked out of Tacoma. I wonder if I can find it. And I did it about 1 or 2 years before Reconciliation Park came up. And I got a call one day saying, "Hey, can we use this cartoon to promote this idea for this park?" I said, "Yeah, go right ahead."
Wait, you're responsible for the
No, I'm
reconciliation?
not responsible. I'm just saying that. No, I found that out when I was in the Tacoma Public Library, going through the archives and finding out what the town was like. I was trying to find some good Union artwork back before the internet had anything on it. And Tacoma has quite the Union past, and quite a violent past.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you know those really rugged Dashiell Hammett stories?
Uh, Vaguely?
Well, Dashiell Hammett wrote about this really gritty crime, and everyone thinks it's all set in L.A., but basically he's writing about Tacoma because he used to live here.
Oh, interesting.
And Stan Shaw, he did a whole thing on a cartoon on Dashiell Hammett.
Yeah, I'll be the first to admit I don't really know much about that.
Yeah, there were tons of union riots here in Tacoma,
Huh.
even as recent as the 50s. Okay, I'm going to put it up on screen.
Oh, the comic?
Yeah, hang on, let me see if I can find. I did this 6 years ago. Actually, I did this for one of the Claus zines. So you should recommend this. I mean, you should see that, be able to see this, or remember it rather.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
So let me zoom out far enough so you can read it.
Well, we have seriously gone off on a tangent tonight.
There we go. You should be able to read it now. But yeah, Tacoma's the only major West Coast metropolis that doesn't have a Chinatown. Isn't that lovely? Okay.
But we do have a park.
Down by the railroad tracks.
Yeah, I know. That's the literal worst place for a reconciliation park.
That where they got loaded up.
All right, I don't know if I'm enjoying the orange E. Can somebody look at my screen and?
I'm looking at your screen, and it's reminding me a lot about the that episode of Star Trek.
There's a lot of green lizardy dudes in Star
I'm
Trek.
remember, you know, the one with in the cage where he's wearing that orange tunic and fighting Kirk and.
Oh yeah, that guy. Oh, okay. Now I feel a little bit better about it.
I think it's, you know, I'm wondering if that guy also has a red sash. I'm just beginning to think, were you doing an homage or?
No, not at all. Maybe subconsciously I was thinking about that. Born, right? Isn't that saying?
Gorn, yeah, I'm going to check the internet just to see whether or not. Okay, it's not quite like the Gorns. The Gorns got more of a 70s curtain vibe going on with like purple gauntlets.
Ooh.
Let me
Purple might not be a bad choice.
let me pull that up for you. Take a look at the mighty Gorn.
Oh wow. Yeah, look at that thing. He could be an exotic dancer.
I like how they hid the neckline of the mask with this wraparound collar of his tunic.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to try purple instead of orange. Let's see how that works.
Nice full body ensemble there.
All right, does that work any better?
Let me take a look. I gotta kill this. Now he's looking a little bit like a Hong Kong Phooey extra.
Cool. I'm down with that. That's the vibe.
I see you. Oh, you toned it back already.
What's that?
You toned it down a bit. Okay.
I did. Can you hear that in the background? My kids' guinea pigs are being very loud. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not.
Is that the rain in the background? What is that?
That's guinea pigs.
Oh, are they running on the wheel?
No. They're just squealing. I think they're hungry. And the kids are not here to feed them.
How's your boy feeling?
Oh, I don't even want to get into that. I don't think he was sick. I think we ran into our first. So I don't know if any of you guys have kids or not, but my son is in middle school, and we just discovered something about his middle school. We discovered that if the kid wants to go home, he does not necessarily need to see the nurse, which is something we assumed was happening. So when he called home from the office, he just told the office that he didn't feel good and wanted to go home, and they let him call home. Which in my day and age would never have happened. Like you had to get past the gauntlet of the school nurse or be sent back to class. That is not the case of his middle school.
Huh.
I don't know if that's just a modern school thing or is that his school or what, but it is really weird.
Yeah, that is news to me and something to look forward to for my kids. Yeah.
Yeah, keep that in mind. I don't know if it's different in different schools, but my wife and I just both assumed, oh, he must have a fever or has puked or something, and the nurse wants him to go home. So, but instead, he was just like, nah, I just feel like coming home.
So did you have a nice long discussion with him about
Oh,
that?
we did. We did indeed. A really long discussion about how that kind of thing is not acceptable. I believe I even used the words, "You have betrayed trust today."
Well, that'll be something to look forward to eventually.
Yeah.
How old are your kids right now?
Oh, I don't have any.
Oh,
That's why I said someday.
you got time.
Yeah.
Mine are 7 and 5.
Okay. I have a 12-year-old and 9-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
I remember 7 and 5. Those were some easy ages. They might not seem that way now, but you'll look back and you'll be like, oh
I should make a note.
yeah. So 7 is second grade?
He just turned 7. He's in first grade.
First grade.
And my daughter's in kindergarten at a private kind of a daycare, so she'll go into kindergarten again next year.
Cool.
Just kind of a bummer, but
Well, I think this looks a little bit better than what it did before.
Are you still working on the tentacle thing?
The tentacle thing, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to leave it like this. I got to move on.
So you have 2 more.
Well, who knows? I'm going to double check. Kind of working from the bottom up right now.
I'm looking forward to you working on something else. You have been working on this project for months, months and months and months. And then you have the alien one to do, right? Or is that done?
Well, I've been inking the alien one. You did not see the one that I did 2 weeks ago, did you?
I do not believe so.
Oh no, no, you saw the one 2 weeks ago. You didn't see the one from this week.
The one from Monday, I certainly did not see.
So I'll just hold it up to the screen. And
What the heck is that thing? It's like a popcorn alien.
fans of this film can describe this thing basically as a leather-clad, puffy spacesuit wearing the world's largest apple fritter for a head.
Oh, moly.
View screen. And both the costume and the fritter is spray painted black. So just quite possibly one of the most atrocious costumes out there.
What?
The movie is called Bad Channels.
It's called the what?
Bad Channels.
The Bad Channel.
No, just Bad Channels.
Not the.
No, the.
And what is it about? He asks, knowing he doesn't really want to know.
It's one of the few I haven't watched.
Oh, man.
right up there with this one.
How can you not how can you draw a apple fritter-headed alien and not want to know why they decided to go in that direction?
Oh, believe me, it's on my it's on my
It's on your
to-do
to
list.
watch list.
Okay, and this one that I'm holding up, I'm really looking forward to watching this one. This is from Metamorphosis, the
That
Alien
I've seen.
Factor.
I saw you draw that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's some crazy 1980s practical special effects. Oh my God, why did they even design the thing like that type stuff? I think that I might have colored all 52 of my monsters.
Hey, hot dog! Congratulations.
I'm going through them now. Oh, I might have spoke too soon. Nope, he's colored. I want to show off this one. Yeah. I'm still trying to get a hold of this film. A little bit more difficult because it's a practical special effects film from the 80s that's from Japan.
What is it called?
It is called Nezua.
Say what up?
Nezua. Imagine a giant mutant rat about 9 feet tall.
And is that an alien movie?
No, this is one of my obscure horror movie monsters.
I see.
And it's on the screen, in case you want to look at it.
Oh yeah, that thing. I've seen that thing.
Oh, yeah, because you're so familiar with this thing.
I've seen that drawing because you've been working on it for weeks.
I'll give back the screen. Can you believe it's already 8:30?
I cannot actually.
Mm.
Is it really
So-
already?
Quick question for you guys before everyone signs off, or anyone signs off real quick. So I'm working, I want to get you guys' input. I'm trying to find a creative way that this van I'm working on will eventually be destroyed. And yes, I'm asking a bunch of artists to find a creative way to destroy something. I realize it could be a can of worms, but so essentially I'm using this white van to smuggle someone out of the picture, and eventually it needs to disappear. And I'm debating between the two ideas I have is like pushing it into some water or pushing it off a cliff. I just
Are
thought
the characters purposefully getting rid of it, or is it like an accident?
oh, it's purpose. Yeah, it's planned.
Gotcha.
But do they need to make it look like an accident?
No, it's just something that's not going to be found.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, there's two characters. One is the weasel that's on the screen in front of the van, and this other large creature that are going to push the van or set it on fire or something, and then they're going to leave the country because that's what they do. So.
That's funny because you were saying it and I wasn't looking at the screen. And I look back and I'm like, oh, he actually meant weasel. Like a real weasel. Because
Oh,
there's a
yeah.
weasel there.
Yes, I am.
Okay, now here's a question. In this world of weasel and bunny mobsters, are they the size of weasels and bunnies, or are they our size?
They are. Um, they are their size. So
So they're the size of actual bunnies.
yes.
But
Well,
everything in
these
the
are dust.
world is also scaled to bunny size.
Yes. Well,
But
my bunny
are
is technically.
natural things like trees also scaled to bunny size?
Yeah, it's an alternate. It
Okay,
looks like Earth, but it's alternate. There's no humans. Everything's scaled to their size. It's not.
so it's like Zootopia, the
Yes.
Disney movie that I am in no way endorsing.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Because I'm like, if they're like weasels and bunnies in a world where everything else is scaled to like people, then you could have some fun with some weird stuff going on. Uh, but I think you should just go classic mobster ways to take care of, uh,
Getting rid of
like
evidence.
like off a bridge or something.
Oh yeah, I like that one. I hadn't thought of that one yet, so I like.
What time of year is this happening?
Um, let's see actually, because it's for my forbidden buffer. Um, it'll be happening in April. So
Okay, so they can't drive it out on top of a frozen lake and let it go through the ice.
no, but the interesting
Southern
thing is with.
Hemisphere.
Hmm?
These could be Southern Hemisphere creatures, right?
Yeah, well,
Where would be winter?
I don't know. I hadn't really given too much of a thought to it. I do know that this weasel in particular, um, in its native habitat, would be he actually switches colors. So I actually have on my screen again the alternate coloration for the character. So in winter he would turn all white, um, but that's not the case of this storyline.
Now I'm just full of questions about this world.
I'm going to say
Like,
goodnight,
how many
gentlemen.
different animal species are there?
How many different animal species do I have?
Yeah.
Uh, well, I classified the bugs all together, but if I break out all the bugs, I have roaches, beetles, stink bugs, um, Goliath beetles, spiders of a couple varieties, and then I have rats, crows, pigeons, squirrels, dust bunnies, and now the weasel.
So do you have like, are there like alligators?
No, everything's the size
Small.
of what's in our world, so like 12 to 14 inches is the cap,
Gotcha.
but everything under that is fair game. So I'll be actually introducing in this storyline a um, an Alaskan wood tree frog kind of thing that's going to be frozen in ice. Um, that's like 4 or 5 inches tall, and then I'm doing a yellow mud turtle that's going to be included as well. So
I'm trying to think of a cool way to destroy it while working on the whole these are animals thing. But I still think you should go the more, I mean, you should go the mobster way, I think.
yeah, I mean, I was trying to think of something creative to do with it, and so, but the putting it off a bridge or like pushing it off would actually be a different way to play with it because that's specifically what this team is going to do. They're specialist hitmen brought in from another country. They do the job, they disappear. So that actually fits really well instead of just.
Would it be too much work to introduce a scrapyard with a crusher and all that stuff that you could use in the future if you need another setting?
No, because that actually would work with one of the other characters. The partner actually is.
Because that could be interesting. I always like to introduce stuff that I have no idea what it is, but it could be a hook for something I'm doing at some point in the future.
Yeah. So later on, I have a character. His partner is a giant spider, called a bird eater, Goliath
Oh,
bird
yeah,
eater. And he's actually supposed to be like Russian, like old world Russian, is how he's going to talk. And so, that could work for him having ties to someone that knows, has some
yeah, how to
family.
take care of stuff like that.
Yeah,
That'd be cool, because then you're world building and have come up with an interesting way to deal with the dilemma.
yeah. I mean, um, the background I was working on a couple weeks ago, the really intricate um, one, I um, was the one that will be right before they get rid of the car, the van, which is going to be like them driving into some remote part of the city or part of the country. Um, but it could work. I mean, either way.
All right, well, it's after the time we normally end, but I am still drawing, so I am more than willing to hang out and continue to draw if people want to hang out with me. We don't necessarily have a set time. I usually cut it off between an hour and an hour and a half.
Yeah, last
When you
week.
guys are down, I am more than willing to stick around at least until my kids get home.
Well, I would definitely like to see more of Deanna coloring this fire scene. That looks like some pretty cool work there.
Well, thanks. I didn't think it would take me this long to do it.
It never does. At least
Oh
in
my
my
God, I was
experience.
working on my 200th page last week, and that took forever. I did not think I was ever going to finish that stupid thing. Here, it is right here. It is an absurd amount of layering.
I was gonna say, when I saw that, I was wondering if was it planned all along in your mind to have it be um, them skipping everything?
That, yes.
Yeah. So that was like,
And I like to reinforce in the storyline that their GM is really not that good. Very often, he won't make the best decisions for the group, but they're kids, so he kind of gets away with it. I don't know
yeah,
why I decided to make him that way, but it's fun for me to play on some of because I'm a fairly seasoned storyteller myself, like game master. So I will purposefully write in some stuff that he he should know how to do. Like, if I had to deal with that same situation, the situation was that he wanted them to all make, like, stealth rolls to get through, like, 4 layers of a dungeon, and they just came up with a better idea that kind of stymied him, and he's like, oh, well, I guess that's fine. I mean, it's not like I had a bunch of stuff planned or anything. But yeah, the goal was to always get them from one place to the other fairly quickly. And ultimately, the goal is when I release the game material portion of this storyline, I will include the actual encounters that they should have run across in the comic, but didn't.
Huh. That'll be interesting to read. See.
But yes, I generally plot the comic out in like 25-page increments, and then kind of sometimes I change things on the fly, but for the most part, I try to stick with what I've plotted out. I don't ever script anything until I'm actually working on the page. I don't know if that's a smart practice of mine or not, but the plot is always there at the very least.
Hmm.
Uh-oh. I hear my kids. They're coming up the stairs. Hey, hon. What is your question? Realize that I am broadcasting. Okay. Is Janice the main character of Cypress Quest? Yes, she is. I mean, it is kind of everybody because it's an ensemble cast, but when I think of like who the star of it is Janice. But that being said, Janice isn't even in the comic right now. She's not. No, she's not gonna. Okay. I hope you guys can hear all this because it's hilarious.
Uh-huh.
I am not wearing headphones and stuff because I am normally the only person here at this time. Who else is here? Well, let's see. There's Jim and Brett and Deanna. Say hi.
Hello.
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 And they're all drawing.
Hi.
Hey, Jim, could you show like all the pages? Because that really just blew my mind. Look at that.
That's super impressive.
Right? And look at how like professional he is in the fact that he's working on several pages at one time. Yeah, I should do that, but don't. Because I don't. Every time I make a buffer, I blow through that buffer really quick.
What do you mean buffer?
A buffer is like you make a lot of comics in advance, and then you don't have to worry about releasing the comic of that week because you've already done it. But I've never been able to do that. Like, I don't have the best work practices, I guess. That is Deanna.
For me, these comics are about 5 years old.
What's that?
These comics are about 5 years old, and I just kind of put them on the shelf and decided nobody would ever see them. And then, as I'm working on a buffer,
the finished pieces that I'm looking at are gorgeous. So I'm glad you decided to finish them.
What's your comic about?
I'm sorry?
What is your comic about?
You know, it's as much science fiction, alien, robot, monster stuff that I can squeeze into one comic.
Awesome.
It's just everything that I think is fun about comics.
And then Brett is doing his comic.
About the otter?
The Dust Bunny Mafia.
Oh, yeah.
That is a weasel.
Wow.
And that is his spider friend?
Yeah, you can't really see it on this one. Here's a better view of him.
Okay. Because he kind of looked like a butt reading a newspaper, I had to admit. I wasn't
Yeah.
sure what was going on there.
Not really.
That's
Look at
understandable.
that picture. Tell me that doesn't look kind of like vaguely
I thought
like a
it
butt.
was like a dwarf walrus.
A dwarf walrus. There you go. Dwarf walrus. I hope we're instilling a bunch of confidence in you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I dig it. Let's put it that way. And the fact that you don't draw these things, you actually use like the pen tool and stuff.
Dungeon Dragon, it's okay.
Our guinea pigs are named Dungeon and Dragon.
Nice.
Yep. All right. My family is taken over. I'm gonna go. Thank you everybody for being part of Epic Sketch Time this week. We'll do it again next week. Until then, keep drawing, and I actually don't have a sign-off slogan. So thank you everybody. I'll see you next week.
No, happy
Thanks.
sidekick class.
Thanks, dear.